Ruben Amorim has lost it with the Manchester United players again after the embarrassing Newcastle defeat. And I saw a lot of people say to me, Alice, why are you that bothered we lost? We all knew we were going to lose. There's a difference between losing 1-0, 2-1, being in the game, and losing and playing in the manner we did, even with the amount of rotation there. And I think Ruben Amorim, like the Brighton game, has every right to lose it today because we showed progress these last few months. And yes, we had Lindelof playing. Yes, we had Ericsson playing. Yes, it was a nothing game. And yes, Newcastle, an incredible side. But it was pathetic yesterday. Just the lack of brains on the pitch. And Ruben Amorim cancels everything. No single Man United player could even speak after Amorim's rant. We're going to talk about that. Jean-Claude Blanc, major figure, leaves Manchester United role. David Ornstein has confirmed interest in Semenyo. He's just scored today, actually, versus Fulham. Delap from Richard Romano gives the latest on that. And Onana exit heats up with him and his agent going to Carrington. What might that mean? So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news and stories roundup. Well, I'm going to round up all the latest Manchester United news into a 10-minute video for you guys, starting with what's come out from Sully, who gets lots of interesting information about what's going on behind the scenes. He was actually aware of a lot of information when it comes to maybe a youngster being given their debut and injury before people. So he's got good sources in and around the club. And this is what he said today. Ruben Amorim was fuming this morning, and rightfully so. Meet and greet with kids cancelled. Emergency first team meetings. Players getting huge bollocking. No one dared to speak. Message was clear. Have until the end of the season to fix up or you're out. So Ruben Amorim cancelled everything. Called an emergency meeting today. Was fuming. Was going at the players. Giving them a massive, bollocking for the performance yesterday. And not one Man United player dared speak. The message was fix up. Fix up or you are out. Ruben Amorim wants a brutal, ruthless rebuild this summer. He knows to spend. He's going to need to spell. He's going to need to sell, and he's not scared to sell. But you know what? I saw someone tweet this the other day that, they're saying, fair play to Amorim. He's only smashed one TV in a rage while being at Man United so far because he could have done it on about 10 occasions. It can't be easy. But this isn't the first time Amorim has lost it. And I think sometimes you need a manager. A little bit like Fergie. You heard the stories about Beckham and the boot with Fergie, the hairdryer treatment, where they'll back you in public, but in private behind the scenes, they'll give you the bollocking you need. Because this is what was reported. Remember when we lost 3-1 to Brighton back about 2 months ago? Ruben Amorim caused damage to the big screen television in Manchester United's dressing room during a furious critique of his players' performances in a defeat to Brighton. The TV used was to go through tactics before kickoff and was caught as collateral and will require fixing before the Rangers game Thursday because he was really angry. And I think he flipped a chair or kicked a table or something like that, and it ended up breaking the TV. I don't know if you remember that story. We did a video on it a couple of months ago. It was also said back then as well that Ruben Amorim unleashed a rage in the dressing room after the Brighton defeat of biblical proportions. Tables were flipped over, chairs were kicked, and every player was made aware that they either shake the F up, while they're out. His temper was so bad, tears were shed, and yet again, they mentioned players were silent. Players did not dare speak. He shows his rage. He shows his anger at the Man United players. And you know what? They need that. It's annoying to lose Xerxes maybe out to the end of the season. It's not the best time to be a Man United fan, but we still have the Europa League. Let's win the Europa League. Let's get European football. Get back in the Champions League, which might be pointless because we'll probably finish bottom of the Champions League group, but hopefully with a good summer, we won't. Because Europe is so key in the sense of our attraction in the summer and also the budget and the boost it gives us. So let's dive into some stories outside of that. Jean-Claude Blanc has stepped away as director of Manchester United as per Company's House of the Musketeers. So this sparked a few, interesting. Blanc's gone, Ashworth has gone, Blanc's gone, people are stepping away. Is Ineos doing a reshape? Are Ineos happy? Well, this has been said by Manchester United in a statement. Jean-Claude Blanc has stepped down from his position as director of Manchester United Football Club. However, he will continue to have an active role in management of the club in his new position of Chief of International Football Relations and Special Advisor for the board. Now, I think Jean-Claude Blanc is a clever man, clever marketing man, and I think he's someone that you want in and around in the club in terms of commercial potential decisions. But Ineos are reshaping a little bit near the top of the club as well, and because things aren't good right now, things aren't good financially, and I know they need to sort it out. So that's interesting news. That major figure in terms of Jean-Claude Blanc has left his role, but he's still within the club. He's not left the club like Ashworth. So I think the fact that Ashworth left the club, Ten Hag left the club, this and that, I feel like Man United is a massive mess behind the scenes, and it's going to take a while to sort out. It's not an instant fix. We've got to give it time, but it's just frustrating how bad we are. This summer is key, but we've got to give it time to fix Manchester United, and it's a long project, hey? Anyway, let's dive into transfer news and stories. This is what David Ornstein said. Ruben Amorim is very fond of Semenyo. Bournemouth would want excess of 65 million to sell him. Semenyo, for me, I wouldn't pay any more than 40 million for. Semenyo is a good player. He's got a little bit of inconsistencies in this game. He could play wing back, he could play 10, he can play left, he can play right. Semenyo is a good player. He's a versatile player. He brings the much needed physicality and versatility needed. He suits Ruben Amorim's system. He's explosive. He's a good ball carrier. He's got very good ball striking. He's dribbling. He covers a lot of ground. Semenyo is a player that, to be honest, probably 45 million, is a player that I would take for 45 million pounds. But I think 65 million pounds, he's not better than Matheus Cunha, and he's not better than Mbeumo. I think what Semenyo offers is the ability to play wing back as well as 10, whereas I don't think Cunha would do that. I don't think Mbeumo would do that. I think they could play striker instead of 10, but maybe not wing back. For me, in an ideal world, you'd get Semenyo, you'd get Cunha, and you'd get Delap if you wanted 3 attacking additions. I mean, in an ideal world, you get Gyökeres or Sanem and Cunha. I like Semenyo. It would depend on the price. I think sometimes he's frustrating, and there's elements of his game that I think some fans would get frustrated with in terms of consistency. But I think as a player, I like him. He's raw. He's got energy. He offers a lot, and he scored a good goal today. But 65 million pounds for me, way too much. Obviously, Liam Delap is available for £30 million, and I think when we've seen the 30 million price tag and how Rasmus Højlund's been performing, and the fact that he's got 12 or 13 goals in the Premier League this season, while I think every Manchester United fan can agree, we need an Onana, we need a Gyökeres, we need a ready-made striker. I don't think any Man United fan would say no to Delap for £30 million. The problem is there's competition. Romana said this. It's between Manchester United and Chelsea now in the race to sign Liam Delap. They're ahead of Bundesliga clubs. This was confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. I think Delap wants to stay in England. There is talk that Chelsea are leading the race, Chelsea advancing on it. I've always said this. When Man United and Chelsea are both in for a player, Chelsea will act quicker. Chelsea will move quicker. Chelsea will do more to get that deal done. They're more ambitious in that sense. They went and got the Kender deal done and tied up. They've done that in the past. Chelsea are quite good when it comes to transfer business, but they keep buying loads of youngsters. Now, he also is a Manchester City Academy player. Could he feel loyalty to Man City and go Chelsea elsewhere? Now, Chelsea are going to be in Europe. We won't. But the thing is, Chelsea haven't been much better than us these last 2-3 months. And Maresca's job is still not seen as safe. Look, it's between United and Chelsea in the race for Delap. Chelsea are favourites. Chelsea are probably the team I'd expect to sign Delap. But Chelsea got a lot of competition and a lot of young players. They're stockpiling. They're being I believe they're being investigated for some kind of things as well. But that was just Twitter rumours. If Delap goes to Manchester United, he's got more of a guarantee of minutes, game time, being the main man. I'd still rather Onana. I'd still rather have a Gyökeres, but you can't turn your nose up at Delap. You'd offer more than Højlund right now. So let's continue on into news on Onana. Andre Onana arrived this morning at Manchester United training with his agent after being dropped for the Newcastle clash. So him coming to Carrington with his agent, is there potentially talks going on about a potential move? Him bringing his agent with him suggests that he wants out, he wants to move, he wants to leave. We know there's a lot of interest from Saudi and Onana, and I think if he does go, he will go to Saudi. Dylan McBennett did say that Sen Lemens is indeed one of the names on the list internally on the club. At the club if Onana leaves, and we have been linked to Lemens, we've been linked to Chevier, we've been linked to Trafford, who I believe will go to Newcastle, and we've been linked to Joan Garcia recently. So I do think United are looking at goalkeepers. Suzuki was a link the other day, but Lemens is obviously a 22-year-old goalkeeper. It was said that United will be looking at a young goalkeeper to replace Onana with. That's not really going to cost more than £20 million. They're not in a position to spend £50 million on a goalkeeper again. So maybe it's one to watch. It was also said by Romano that several clubs in the Saudi Pro League are still interested in Andre Onana. The interest is strong, and that could possibly and that could be a possibility this summer. Onana, I think, depends on Saudi. I don't see a top 5 league club going in for Andre Onana. I think it would be Saudi. Now, Manchester United need to get at least 25 million for Andre Onana to avoid making a loss in terms of PSR. So it also depends how much Saudi clubs are willing to pay. But it's one to watch. Onana being with his agent, being dropped lately, things going wrong at United. Even though he said he didn't want to leave United, he said if he felt unwanted at United, he'd be open to leaving. And I think he's probably starting to feel a little unwanted. Anyway, that's all your news rounded up into 10 minutes. Thank you for watching this video, guys. See you next time. Bye.